Most parents believe that academic excellence is the primary foundation of future success, so they invest in schools, tutoring programs, structured activities, and carefully planned routines designed to give their children every possible advantage. Intelligence is often treated as the most valuable asset a child can develop. Yet long-term research suggests that intelligence alone does not reliably predict resilience, leadership, or emotional stability in adulthood. Imagine two children growing up in the same home, one focusing almost entirely on grades and structured learning while rarely participating in household responsibilities, and the other regularly contributing by washing dishes, organizing shared spaces, and helping maintain order in the home. At first glance, these daily tasks may appear insignificant, yet over time they shape something deeper than skill, gradually influencing identity and internal belief systems. Research conducted at Harvard University through what is widely known as the Harvard Study of Adult Development followed hundreds of individuals across multiple decades with a simple but profound objective: to understand what truly predicts long-term well-being and life success. The findings consistently indicated that responsibility, contribution, and work ethic were stronger predictors of life satisfaction and stability than raw cognitive ability alone. One of the key insights from the longitudinal research, explained by psychiatrist Robert Waldinger, is that individuals who develop a sense of contribution early in life tend to demonstrate stronger relational skills and greater long-term resilience, because contribution changes how a person understands themselves within a system. When a child participates in maintaining the household, they begin to recognize that they are not passive recipients of comfort, but active participants in a shared structure. This shift is subtle yet foundational, as a child who internalizes the idea that their effort matters develops a durable sense of agency. And agency influences motivation. Motivation supports persistence, and persistence supports achievement. These layers build gradually and often unnoticed, shaped more by small daily repetitions than by dramatic moments of instruction. Modern parenting, however, sometimes removes children from this process. In an effort to reduce stress and protect emotional comfort, many adults complete tasks on behalf of their children. While the intention is supportive, the long-term effect may reduce opportunities for skill building through effort, a pattern described by former Stanford Dean Julie Lythcott-Hames as overparenting, a dynamic that can unintentionally limit the development of independence. From a neurological perspective, responsibility is not merely behavioral training, but cognitive development. Because when a child completes a task that requires planning and follow-through, the prefrontal cortex becomes actively engaged. This region governs executive function, including impulse control, long-term planning, and decision-making accuracy. And repeated task completion strengthens neural pathways associated with self-regulation. Each completed responsibility reinforces the internal message that effort leads to outcome, and over time, this association builds self-efficacy, defined as the belief in one's capacity to execute and complete meaningful actions. Self-efficacy strongly predicts persistence under stress and adaptability in unfamiliar environments. Dopamine, often misunderstood as a simple pleasure chemical, also plays a role, because when effort leads to completion, the reward system activates in a balanced and constructive manner, teaching the brain that satisfaction can follow discipline rather than instant gratification. In adulthood, this pattern supports financial discipline, consistent work performance, and thoughtful decision-making. These findings align closely with principles described by James Clear in Atomic Habits, where habits are presented not only as actions but as identity signals, meaning that every repeated behavior reinforces a belief about who we are. When children regularly contribute to household responsibilities, they are not simply completing chores, they are reinforcing the belief that they are capable, responsible, and dependable individuals. The 4 laws of behavior change provide a practical framework for parents. Responsibilities should be clearly defined so expectations are understood, integrated naturally into daily routines rather than presented as punishment, begun at a small scale to reduce resistance so consistency develops before complexity increases, and reinforced through recognition that emphasizes contribution and effort rather than material reward. When implemented consistently, these small systems shape character through repetition, and character formed early often determines how adults respond to uncertainty, competition, and long-term challenges. For adults over 50, this framework may feel familiar, as many grew up in environments where household responsibilities were expected rather than negotiated. Experiences that often built resilience carried into adulthood. Today, technological convenience has reduced many daily demands, yet the psychological need for structured responsibility remains unchanged. Comfort can simplify life, but resilience develops through measured exposure to effort. And allowing children to contribute meaningfully prepares them not only for academic achievement, but for leadership, collaboration, and long-term stability. The objective is not to impose excessive workload, it is to cultivate competence through consistent participation. The distinction between making life easier and making individuals stronger is subtle yet significant, because ease removes friction, while strength develops through engagement with manageable friction. Household responsibilities represent structured friction within a safe environment, providing opportunities to practice accountability before consequences become larger in adulthood. Across years and decades, small patterns accumulate, and a child who learns to follow through on minor obligations develops the cognitive and emotional architecture required for larger responsibilities later in life. Leadership is rarely formed in dramatic moments. It is constructed quietly through repetition of ordinary discipline. The kitchen sink, the shared table, the simple daily task may appear ordinary, yet they can serve as early training grounds for resilience, focus, and responsibility. Viewed from a long-term perspective, these small moments are not interruptions to success, they are components of it.